Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us for today's press conference. We will have an opportunity for question and answer after 20 minutes, followed by a brief intermission, and the press conference will proceed in the Spanish language. I have the privilege to be assisting in Spanish language translations with Mr. Pedro Martinez, who is father of Aven Hernandez. Also speaking will be Henry Martinez, brother of Aven, as well as Attorney Ballesteros, Drew Havens, and Lori Jamestown, Executive Director of the National Association of Public Defense, as well as Ms. Sierra Pettiford. She is representing Karen Bass's office. Thank you.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Pedro Martínez, el padre de Aven Hernández. Gracias a todos ustedes, los que están aquí presentes, por verse tomado su tiempo, por
Good morning.
ayudarlos.
Good morning, everyone who is present. My name is Pedro Martinez. I'm father of Aven Hernandez. Thank you for everyone who's present, taking the time to be with us, attempting to help us.
Venimos a suplicarle a los presidentes, a José Biden y al presidente Nicolás Maduro, que por favor tomen conciencia de mi hijo, Aven Hernández.
Here to implore both presidents, Mr. Biden and also Nicolas Maduro, to please take consciousness for my son.
Que tomen acción lo más pronto posible y pidiéndoles ayuda a todos ustedes por la situación de mi hijo en la que se encuentra.
Asking that action be taken as soon as possible, in particular for my son's situation and how he finds himself.
Ustedes como padre, como familia, igualmente que los presidentes, es duro saber de que un hijo de ustedes que ha luchado, ha estudiado, ha dedicado su tiempo para poder ayudarle a las personas que necesitamos ayuda, las personas que no sabemos si necesitamos ayuda cuando tenemos problemas. Él se ha dedicado su tiempo.
So yourselves as fathers of families, yourselves as president, have the consciousness that, being a parent and seeing your son study and dedicate himself to helping others and having that awareness, and if one finds himself in need for help.
Por favor, se lo suplico.
Please, I beg of you.
Mi hijo es una persona de que él ha preferido estudiar mucho. Él se ha clasificado él ha llegado de su trabajo a hacer su trabajo en casa, saliendo de trabajar.
My son, he has studied so much, he has sacrificed himself so much. In fact, he would come home from work and still work.
Me recuerdo muy bien cuando él llegaba a estudiar sus casos y se quedaba dormido en el sofá.
I recall he would come home to study with regard to his cases, and he would fall asleep on the couch.
Le decía, mi hijo, ve a acostarte, ya es tarde. Él decía, sí, papá, ahorita. Y volvía a lo mismo, a quedarse dormido y seguir estudiando.
I would tell him, son, please go to sleep, get some rest. And he'd say, yes, father. And he would return to study and yet again.
Los domingos, que era un día para dedicarse a pasear con sus amigos, él prefería ir a trabajar.
Yet Sundays, a day for relaxation, time to dedicate with friends, he would still dedicate himself to work.
Sin ningún pago, porque los domingos a él no le pagaban para trabajar.
And without pay, because he was not getting paid to work on Sundays.
Precisamente por eso estoy pidiéndoles ayudas a todos ustedes y les suplico que a los presidentes que protejan a todos los americanos que estamos en esta situación.
Precisely, this is why I'm asking for your help to help protect also all Americans being in this situation.
Él no tiene por qué estar en esta situación. Ay, me disculpan porque me siento un poco nervioso, pero
He doesn't need to be in this situation. Please pardon me, I do feel a little nervous.
me siento un poco culpable de que mi hijo esté en esta situación.
I feel a bit culpable, responsible that my son actually is in this situation.
Déjenme contarles.
Let me explain to you.
Antes que él viajara para Colombia,
Prior to his trip to Colombia,
me invitó a que fuéramos a mi país, El Salvador.
he invited me that we actually go to my country in El Salvador.
Por mi situación problema que tenía yo de una operación que yo estaba esperando.
Due to my own medical situation, I was actually waiting for a surgery procedure.
Yo le dije a él que no.
I told him no.
Por esa razón yo me siento culpable y le suplico que los ayuden.
For that
Porque
reason, I feel culpable, responsible, and I ask for your help.
si él hubiese ido conmigo, si yo hubiese aceptado a él la invitación que me hizo para ir a El Salvador,
Had he gone with me, had I accepted that invitation to go to El Salvador,
él no estuviera donde está.
he wouldn't be where he's at.
Pero yo me siento culpable
I feel culpable.
y le pido disculpas a todos ustedes.
I say sorry to
Y
you.
les pido ayuda a los presidentes otra
I
vez.
ask for the help of the presidents.
Esto que ven aquí es una gorra, le llamo la gorra de la suerte.
What you see here is a hat. I call it my lucky hat.
Me la dieron mis nietos,
It was given to me by my grandsons,
Leili Martínez,
my
Samuel
grandchildren.
Martínez,
Leili, Samuel Martinez,
Noah Martínez.
Noah Martinez.
Siempre me preguntan por él.
They always ask me for him.
Abuelo, ¿cuándo va a venir mi tío Avin?
Grandpa, when is Uncle Avon going to come back?
Eso es muy duro.
That's very difficult.
Les suplico y les pido por favor la ayuda.
I beg of you
Pronto
for your help,
posible.
please, as immediate as possible.
Gracias por su atención.
Thank you for your attention.
Que Dios me los bendiga.
God bless you.
Como familia les suplico.
As family man, I beg of you.
Y gracias, y gracias.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aquí está mi hijo
This is my son.
Henry Martínez, también pidiendo ayuda por él.
He's also imploring for help on his behalf.
Lastimosamente no pudo venir la mamá de él por situaciones económicas.
Sadly, Avon's mother was not able to join us due to financial challenges.
Tenía que también cuidar sus nietos.
She also was helping take care of the grandchildren.
Gracias. otra
Thank
vez.
you. Again,
Bendiciones para todos.
blessings for everyone.
Y a los presidentes,
And to
por
the
favor,
presidents, please
actúen lo más pronto
act
posible.
as soon as possible.
Se los pido de favor.
I beg of this. I ask this favor
Como padres
As a
que
father.
son, como familia que tienen y
as a
hijos
family
que
that
tienen.
you too and children that you also have.
Pónganse la mano en el corazón.
Place your hand over your heart.
Actúen, déjenlo en libertad, por favor.
Act and give him liberty, please.
Bring Avin home, please. Gracias.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's a very difficult day for me and my family, not just today, but the past 8 months, close to 8 months. When we first discovered that my brother was missing, he would always call us and call my father and my mother, checking up on him while he was in Colombia in his vacation. And he stopped returning the messages and calls, and to give you a better understanding of what we went through and those sleepless nights. I called the Colombian hospitals looking for him to see if we can find a clue of where he might be. I would call the police stations looking for him, and nothing. That was March 29th, and then April 2nd came, and still nothing. I would have nightmares of having to fly to Colombia and identify my brother's body. And April 4th came, and we got a message from the public defender who said that he would be representing him in Venezuela. And the worst of the worst was finally over. Now we face the mission in trying to bring him home as soon as possible. October 1st, I read on the news that 7 Americans were on their way home. Unfortunately, my brother was not on that list. it is, it gives me hope. It brings me joy that the family members are, and the detainees are reunited, and I know by these actions, Venezuela and the United States are in progress of mending a relationship. However, we need actions taken more quickly to bring my brother home. We're approaching the holidays. Thanksgiving is not so far away, and followed by Christmas. And I know these are going to be some difficult times, but I hope and I pray, we pray every day that the leaders of these two nations make swift and positive decisions to bring my brother home. Use all the tools necessary to bring my brother home by whatever means necessary. I even asked the Colombian president, Petro, to lend us a hand. Talk to Maduro, see if you can do a favor. The president of Mexico, president of El Salvador, from which my brother was born, Bukele, I ask you for a favor and get involved in securing my brother's release. I ask everyone to please share the story and help us bring my brother home. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I will present to you, Yvonne.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Yvonne Ballesteros. I'm a judge pro tem at the Los Angeles Superior Court and longtime friend of Avon. May 10th, 2022, I went by my mother's house and had lunch with her to celebrate Mother's Day. Sorry. Sorry. Whoa, it hit me hard. Too soon. In Mexico, as well as in El Salvador, where Avon's family is from, we celebrate Mother's Day on May 10th. I had lunch with my mom, gave her a hug, told her I loved her, opened a few gifts, and I went home. That evening on May 10th, 2022, I had put my 3 kids to bed, and I received a text message from a colleague, a friend of Avon and mine, asking whether I knew if Avon was in a Venezuelan jail. I was completely stunned. I was like, "What? What? Are you serious?" You know, I sat on my couch, frozen. But I told him I would find out. I text messaged several of our friends from law school, several of my girlfriends, and they had no idea. They were as saddened and stunned by this message as I was. I went to sleep, and the next morning, the first thing I did, I Googled a classmate of ours from law school. I knew Avon would travel with him occasionally. And I looked him up. I called him. Luckily, he answered, although he was in trial. And he confirmed my worst fears. Avon was, in fact, in a jail in Venezuela. And he gave me his brother Henry's phone number. I called Henry and got as many details as I could. And I began to message our classmates at UCLA Law School and our friends. and we formed a group, a group chat on WhatsApp. There's now almost 45 of us that are part of this group. And we began to use our brain power, our connections, working day and night whenever we had a break from work or our families, connecting to each other. But I thought that Mother's Day, while I was celebrating with my mom, Ava's mom was living in agony, unable to hug or kiss her son, unable to tell him she loved him. In fact, she didn't know whether he was alive. The last communication, as Henry mentioned, was at the end of March. On that Mother's Day, May 10th, it had been 6 weeks. She had not heard from the voice of her son. She had not heard of his condition. 2 more torturous weeks passed before she heard his voice. We would learn that Aven was wrongfully imprisoned in a maximum security prison in Caracas, Venezuela. He is in solitary confinement in the dungeon infamously called La Casa de los Sueños, the House of Dreams. Of course, I began my Google search, and the first thing that appears when you Google this particular, DGCIM jail, they talk about the new cells at the House of Dreams, that these cells were built para que la gente se vuelva loca, for people to go crazy. This is no house of dreams. Even was in no house of dreams. It was a house of nightmares. La casa de las pesadillas. La casa de pesadillas. A nightmare where our son, brother, and friend is fighting for his physical, mental, and emotional health. A prison notoriously known to break people down, as recounted by his brother in prison, Osman Khan, who has been brave enough to tell his story to help Aven and other Americans left behind. The U.S. government did see Aven in June of this year. We know that he is surviving, but we really don't know the status of his health. His family and friends have not seen photos or videos of him. Has his calm nature been overcome by anxiety and anguish? Has his strong and healthy build deteriorated? Has his strong yet caring stare transformed into one of pain? I met Aven at a very young age. I was in college. We were both at UCLA, first-generation students. Felt the pressure of being first-generation student at such a huge university is paralyzing. To be the first in your family, navigating education and building a career because you feel like it is all or nothing. One misstep, and you, along with your whole family, who are relying on you to succeed, are done. Aven, always ahead of me. He always encouraged me to keep. He's like a big brother. I was the oldest in my family, and so having him a year, having met him, he took me under his wing. It's kind of like a big older sibling does, kind of waves you along. Keep going, keep going. Fortunately, we both attended law school as well. We're both double Bruins. We attended law school. He was a year ahead of me again. So he lived through the first year craziness before I did and was able to offer advice. Seeing him in the student lounge was a breath of fresh air. He checked on me. And even had gathered a group of us on Thursday nights to go salsa dancing. Even loves to dance salsa, bachata. He's a dancer. a lawyer by day, dancer by night, right? I'm just kidding. But this was such a good break for us. And he gathered us. We went back to studying after our salsa class on the main campus. And I thought I was his best friend, but putting together this coalition of amazing 45 plus people that love him, I found out everyone is his best friend. We're also fortunate enough. And as Henry mentioned, on October 1st, 7 Americans came home in a humanitarian hostage exchange effort. And we are so grateful that these Americans are home with their families, that they're healing, that they're beginning to thrive again. And we are so grateful that they are helping us. I was driving to a basketball tournament with my 3 kids the day I found out, October 1st. It was in the morning. I was driving them, and I kept seeing messages and messages. I pulled over, and I read that Avon was not on the list. I took a moment and just began to cry. My kids asked me what had happened, and I told them my friend Avon. And they were worried because they've known his name. We've talked about it. They know what's going on. As kids, young kids, 10, 9, and 5, they know. They know the urgency. They feel the urgency not to be with their family. They know. I mean, there's no way. Like the fact that I'm here away, it's like I'm sure they're having. I sleep with my youngest every night, so they know. They know feeling. And since I have been here, they've asked, "Mom, how's it going?" I arrived Monday. I had not met with anyone. How's it going? Who have you met? What have you been doing? How's it? And yesterday, I gave them. We went to the Capitol building, and they asked me, "Who did you meet? Did you meet the president?" And you know what? That's a good point. We have not met with the president. That is a very good question. We have not. It's my understanding the president has not called the Avon's family, has not messaged them. No meeting. We're here in D.C. We're here till Friday. We welcome a meeting with the president, and we need a meeting with you, or some sort of communication, some sort of indication that you know who Avon is. You know his situation. We need to know. We need you to know his name. We are here to plead with you, President Biden, because it was. I know it was probably not an easy decision, the humanitarian hostage exchange, and we applaud you for that. But you did leave our friend behind. Our friend was left behind. And although at that moment on October 1st, he wasn't designated as wrongfully detained, but we knew. And the government knew that he was unlawfully detained. Yet I know we didn't have the designation, but we knew, and we left him behind. And as a father, you know that if your child was in this high military jail suffering the conditions, there's no way. You wouldn't sleep. The anguish would overcome you. It'd paralyze you at times. And this is what we're living. One more day in the house of nightmares is an eternity, and we need him to come home. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Drew Havens. I'm an attorney in the Public Defender's Office and an advocate for Avon Hernandez. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This is so important to me and to Avon's family. I met Avon when I joined the Public Defender's Office in 2017. He was a mentor to me and a champion for marginalized people in Los Angeles County. He fought tirelessly and still fights tirelessly for marginalized people. As you know, it brought a tear to my eye hearing his father speak about the moments where nobody saw, where he's in his living room working on these cases until midnight, falling asleep. That's the kind of person that Avon is. And even in his weakest moment, seemingly, when he's in captivity in a dungeon in a Venezuelan prison, he's still being of service to marginalized people. The Americans who are in captivity with him have credited Avon with providing moral support to get through the horrible conditions of confinement. And when I first found out, I just felt sick to my stomach, and I just had a feeling. I knew I had to do something. I knew I had to act, and I'm so proud of the coalition that's come together from Avon's friends and family, to the non-governmental organizations who have provided support, such as Hostage Aid, the Foley Foundation, the Richardson Center, and our partners in government, such as Representative Bass. We're so thankful for her leadership, in the State Department and our entire government. But our work is not done here. Every day that Avon is in captivity is a day too long, and Avon is innocent, and it just haunts me that he is in this horrible situation, and there are things that can be done that can bring him home, and we need to act. We need to bring Avon home. He is a valuable public servant. He is a beloved son. He's a beloved brother, a beloved uncle. We miss him dearly. We love him, and we need him home. Thank you. I want to hand it off to Lori with the National Association for Public Defenders. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lori James Towns, and I'm the Executive Director for the National Association for Public Defense. I'm here, as we call NAPD. I'm here to represent NAPD's Board of Directors, the staff and team, and the 30,000 plus members that represent every single state in this country, including Guam and Puerto Rico. NAPD stands in solidarity with Avon's family, with his friends, his public defender colleagues, and the entire Los Angeles community. Our hearts are with you, and we are saddened by your suffering, and of course by Avon's suffering as well. NAPD joins the voices asking and demanding that the Biden administration work to bring him home. It has been clear, it has been noted, and acknowledged and even honored that he has been a public servant for over 16 years. And his service has never wavered, even as we heard Drew said, even now. It is time for us, your public defender family, to advocate for him. And we will do just that. And we will do so without reservation. We want Avon to know, because I read an article, I saw a video where he said he felt abandoned. We want him to know that we have not abandoned him, that we will stand with him, and that your public defender community is here and ready. And we have not and will never forget you. Please let the National Association for Public Defenders know what we can do today and in the future. Thank you.
I would like to formally introduce Staff Director Ms. Sierra Pettiford. She is with the House of Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, Global Health, and Global Human Rights with Congresswoman Karen Bass.
Good morning. As stated, my name is Sierra Pettiford. I'm the Staff Director for the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, Global Health, and Global Human Rights, chaired by Congresswoman Karen Bass. And I'd like to read a statement from Congresswoman Karen Bass. Let me start by saying that Avon Hernandez, a U.S. citizen and constituent of the 37th Congressional District, needs to be brought home. I have followed his situation, including through briefings with the U.S. State Department, as well as with contact with Mr. Hernandez's family and friends. I thank them for inviting me today. I also appreciate their continuing efforts to bring attention to his detention and to do all they can to bring Mr. Hernandez back to his family. I am coordinating a letter to be released shortly from members of Congress to Secretary Blinken and to President Biden. Together, we urge the administration to take action expeditiously as possible to return Mr. Hernandez home safely. Thank you.
Henry.
I would like to thank every one of you guys for being here. UCLA has supported LA Board of Supervisor without hesitation, supported Lori James, thank you so much for being here. Karen Bass, I appreciate you getting involved. And most importantly, without the friends and colleagues of Avon, I wouldn't be here today. Me and my father would be lost. So for the other family members who don't have this circle of friends, we're here with you and we support you as well. I think it's important for everyone to get a chance, because as I've realized, many have not been able to hear my brother's voice. This was late August, and President Biden, if you haven't heard of this, my brother's voice, here, I'm gonna play it for you.
Dedicated myself to public service for over 15 years. I've dedicated myself to helping poor and working class people on the basis that no matter what mistakes a person makes, they should always be treated fairly, humanely, with dignity and respect. Also, no one should be abandoned at the time of their greatest need or when they're most vulnerable. However, I don't feel like my government feels that way about me. All of the U.S. Americans here feel like our government has abandoned us and dismissed us, and that they don't care about us. Everyone here wants the U.S. to have peaceful, respectful, economic, social, and political relations with the people and the government of Venezuela. We don't feel that the economy should be prioritized over our lives. It is difficult being here. This place is meant to break you psychologically and spiritually. We're all innocent, yet we're all being charged and treated as terrorists. There's no such thing as a fair trial here. We have not seen a courtroom in months, and we may never see a courtroom. And the uncertainty, the isolation, the daily human rights violations are taking their toll and are having their intended effect on us. 2 people have already tried to commit suicide, and 1 is on the brink with daily mental health breakdowns. If you don't get us out soon, then there may not be anyone left to save.
Thank you again for being here.
Stay strong, mijo. Stay strong.
Nene Juarez, former deputy defender. President Biden, we ask that you visit Avon, that you bring him home, that someone check on his physical wellness. No one deserves to be treated in this way of not having medical attention. As a humanitarian request, we ask that both countries make amends so that people are not suffering. People in Venezuela, people in the United States, other potential tourists. No one should be exposed to something such as this. Please find a solution. Thank you. At this time, we have an opportunity for questions from the press or anyone that would like. Yes, sir.
When was the last time you spoke to Eva? How is he doing?
The question is, when was the last time that you have spoken to Avon, and how is he doing?
We the last conversation that we had with my brother was this past Sunday. It was about 8 minutes long. And you know, his voice is definitely weakening. he's not as strong. He's not as strong as the beginning months. He's waiting for me to provide him some good news, and unfortunately, I have nothing. I just keep assuring him that I'm doing my best, that my dad is doing my best, that his friends and colleagues are doing their best, and that was the last time I talked to him.
As a reference standpoint, that is Sunday, November 13, 2022.
Supuestamente a él lo tenían que haber llevado a la audiencia,
Supposedly, Avon was going to be taken to a court tribunal,
pero a él nunca lo llevan.
but he was never taken.
Nunca sabe de sus abogados.
He never knows as to his attorneys.
Él sinceramente no sabe ni lo que
He
a veces
doesn't-
no sabe ni lo que está pasando, ni
He
lo que viene, ni
sincerely
lo que va.
doesn't know what's happening, what's coming, what is going.
Este domingo que hablamos con él,
This past Sunday that we spoke to him,
se oyó la voz muy débil de él.
I heard his voice very weak.
No sé, algo está pasando.
I don't know, something is happening.
Espero que no, pero
I hope not, however.
sí está una voz muy, muy, muy apagada.
However, it was a voice that was very, very turned off.
Espero que se mantenga fuerte y que los ayuden, por favor.
I hope that he maintain himself strong and that you help us, please.
Él me contó una noche, para dormir, duerme enfrente de una luz.
He told me that one time that in order to be able to sleep, well, he actually has to sleep under a bright light.
Para mí eso es una tortura.
To me, that is a torture.
Él quiso cubrirse los ojos con un calcetín
He
para
wished,
poder dormir.
he wished to create artificial darkness by covering his eyes with a sock.
No lo permitieron.
They did not allow this.
No es correcto.
It's not correct.
Para una persona humana,
For a human being,
no es correcto.
it's not correct.
Por favor, hagamos algo.
Please, let's do something.
Le agradezco a todos ustedes que están presentes, a los de las cámaras, los que están ayudándonos con las noticias.
I appreciate everyone who's present, camera people, and assisting us with press.
Que por favor lo hagan más público con lo que se pueda para poder que entiendan los presidentes.
Please make this as public as possible so that we can help the presidents understand
Que tenemos que traer a estos americanos, a estas familias,
that we must bring these Americans and these family members,
a todos los que están en este mundo, en esta situación,
everyone in this world that is in this type of situation.
como humanos que somos,
As human beings,
tenemos que reunir a estas familias
we must reunite these families
que estamos sufriendo.
that we are suffering.
A cualquiera le puede pasar esto.
This can happen to anyone.
Todos como familia no merecemos estar sufriendo.
And as family, we don't deserve to be suffering.
Por favor,
Please,
no los abandonen.
please don't abandon them.
Todos somos familia.
We are all family.
Todos necesitamos la libertad.
We all need liberty.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Que Dios me los bendiga.
May God bless you.
Another question for you. Have you reached out to the president? And what has been the response?
Yes, we've reached out multiple times to the president.
The
We
question
haven't-
is, have you reached out to the president and what has the response been thus far?
Thank you. We've reached out multiple times, and we haven't had any successful contact. We would like a meeting face to face, so we can explain to you and show you who my brother is, and help out strategies on how we can bring him home. I can be of assistance. I'm willing to do anything.
Thank you very much. This concludes our English language press conference. We will have an intermission and resume in 5 minutes. Thank you.